Whoa. Hey, everybody, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is real vile time, babies. And it's the G to the E to the R to the M. The T stands for the, but you already knew that. And we're about to rip it up in a modern way. So you know it's going to be Mr. Germ T. Ripper. Along with the Tower of the Hour, the Princess of Power, Miss Killer Kelly Miller. Killer Kelly, tell the people what's really going on.
Hey, what's really going on, guys? How you doing? How you guys doing?
Absolutely.
Sunburnt?
Yeah. Wasn't talking to you, but of course, we got the Prime Minister, the Sinister, Mr. Ruthless Chris. Ruthless Chris, I hear you're sunburnt. What else is going on besides your sunburn, baby?
I forgot to put bug spray on my feet, so I also have mosquito bites all over my feet from camping. I'm pretty miserable today.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, it's been a long night. I'm pretty exhausted myself. It's been a long fucking hot week, dude. My fucking AC went out in this shit. At one point, my house was 97 degrees this week. Like, the first 4 days I was dealing with no fucking AC, and then my landlord finally brought me a portable one, which isn't perfect, but it gave me a little relief, which, thank God, I fucking needed it. And, yeah, it's been a hectic fucking week for me.
It's been a hectic couple weeks, man. We had that Virginia trip. Virginia was fucking weird.
Yep. Virginia was weird. We went kayaking. My friends are here right now from California visiting for a few days. So, yeah. Went camping last night. I'm pretty exhausted.
Made some fire ribs, and we listened to the original War of the Worlds broadcast. That was fun.
Yes, that was really cool to listen to, like, by a campfire and shit. That was really fucking cool.
Well, wild times indeed. I mean, we've been away for a couple of weeks, so it's great to catch up on all the wild and zany adventures that Ruthless Chris and Killer Kelly have been up to. But guess what? Tonight, our feature presentation will be the 2007 shot-on-video Wrong Turn 2 Dead End. Ooh la la, this sequel is going to be a wild showcase to get to. Man, oh man, it's probably one of the most well-known films directed by Joe Lynch. But before we get talking about that, let's get talking about what other movies we've been watching. Hey there, Ruthless Chris. What you been watching, baby?
All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is a horror comedy. And it actually, I was shocked by how good it was, because I went into it kind of for the novelty of it, and I didn't really expect much out of it, and it really delivered. This is Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls, 2023. Written, directed, and starring Andrew Bowser, who you may know as the viral Weird Arby's guy.
Oh, yes.
He does all those like weird Satanist like comedy videos and shit. This got added to Tubi, and I really had like nothing going on, so I was like, fuck it, I'll give this thing a whirl. And I ended up really falling for the charm of it. It is actually pretty fun and funny. It's all practical effects, and the effects are really, really fucking cool. There's like a giant demon at one point that they built like a 20-foot fucking demon puppet that was really cool. There's some good zombie action, but what you got is a Satanist kid that works at a burger joint wins a competition to go with several other people to this rich eccentric man's house, played by Jeffrey Combs, where they put so much shit on him you wouldn't even recognize it was him, but he did a really good job in this thing. And they're promised immortality if they help him with these rituals that he's going to do, and he proves this to him by killing himself in front of them and bringing himself back to life. So they're all in on this. They all believe it's going to be true, and everything's not really what it says it's going to be. The sense of humor in this thing is real fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. The special effects remind me of like House, where everything's like kind of exaggerated but practical. I really loved it. I didn't expect to love this thing as much as I did. It scratched a lot of itches for me, and it was a lot funnier than it had any right to be. So I'd actually highly recommend it. I give it 3.5 stars. Watched it on
2.5 stars. And how do you what was the full name again?
Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls.
Man, when I saw that this was made into a movie, I didn't know if I wanted to check it out or not, just because I remember that this guy was very, very funny. Like the original skits he was doing online was very funny, and then he sort of faded into obscurity. Obviously, he faded into obscurity because he was spending time making this movie. But I'm good. I'm glad to hear that it is actually fun to watch, and I love a fun movie, so I'll have to check that out. Killer Kelly, have you seen this one?
I have not seen it, but I did see that it popped up on Tubi, and I almost watched it a couple times. It sounds silly. I don't know. I might have to check it out now.
It's silly. It's got like a little bit of a throwback to it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Killer Kelly, what you got for us next?
I watched a early 2000s witchcraft movie. This one is kind of in the... no, it wasn't in the same vein as The Craft. The Craft was better done prior to this, but this is Tamara from 2005. I watched this on Tubi. It's your basic setup. I mean, it is kind of cliche, but it wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it. She's kind of like the unpopular nerdy girl, gets bullied in high school and stuff, but also practices witchcraft at home, lives with her abusive father, kind of similar to some of the characters, or what Nancy's character in The Craft, lives with the abusive parent and does witchcraft at home, although she wasn't really bullied. But, she's in love with one of her teachers, so as a mean prank, a bunch of the bullies invite her to a hotel room where she thinks she's hooking up with the teacher, and they videotape her, but she freaks the fuck out and, busts her head open on a table and dies, and they bury her. I don't know if she was dead or alive. They don't really know, but they buried her anyway. I think that she was alive. Anyway, the next day at school, Tamara comes back looking sexy as shit and ready for revenge. So this is basically the movie. I didn't hate it. I thought it was a fun, early 2000s. It is definitely a product of its time. I thought it was fun. I gave it a 3. Didn't completely hate it. It was very cliche. It's, yeah. But I didn't completely hate it. It's a fun watch. It's mediocre. 3.
The 3 for Tamara, and what did you say it's streaming on?
Tubi,
but of course. Mm-hmm. Hey there, Chris, have you seen Tamara?
I have. I watched it because it has a really, really dumb cover. It's just like a sexy woman holding an axe in a class hallway. Mm-hmm. I would describe this movie as like a really, really watered down version of Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, okay, that's a better, I see a lot of people comparing it to The Craft, and I'm like, I didn't see it. I think the only aspect that really...
Body.
It is definitely more Jennifer's Body. Jennifer's Body being way better, by the way.
Way better. I mean, it's not a bad way to spend the night. It's shitty and campy and fun, so I mean, I'd recommend it. I'd give it 2.5.
Yeah, 3 was being a little generous, but I'm like, I'll give it a 3,
Sometimes it's good to be generous. I have not seen Tamara, or at least I haven't seen it while I was sober because I don't remember ever watching it. But it sounds like, if you're bored and you want something like Jennifer's Body, but not Jennifer's Body because you've seen Jennifer's Body, you might want to check out Tamara on Tubi. 2.5, 3 stars from Chris and Kelly. But to keep this train chugging along so we can get to 2007's Wrong Turn 2 Dead End, I'm going to talk about a movie that I've watched recently, and it is 2024's fantasy horror mystery done by the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan, directed by Aishana Shyamalan. It is The Watchers. Now, The Watchers is about a young artist who gets stranded in an extensive, immaculate forest in Western Ireland, where, after finding shelter, she comes trapped alongside 3 strangers stalked by mysterious creatures each night. Now, this movie, I love the trailer. It was very intriguing, and I probably wouldn't have gone to see it if it wasn't for I was visiting my family and friends in New Hampshire, and I got done eating I got done eating out at a restaurant with one of my friends, and she was like, "What are you doing later?" And I was like, "Oh, let's go." She suggested we go see this movie. I was like, "Well, why not? There's nothing else to do," and yeah, it was all right. You know, it had enough twists and turns to keep me interested, and it has to. It's very folk horror. You know, the trailer makes it seem like it was probably smarter than it actually is in real life. And that's okay. You know, trailers are supposed to do that. Trailers are supposed to make you watch the movie. But it's a decent film if you like folk horror, if you like sort of Irish folk horror movies, and if you like M. Night Shyamalan, you'll like his daughter's movies. So, yeah, it's very similar in that sort of twist and keep on twisting and turning type film that he does. But on that note,
said, "What a twist!
What a twist indeed." On that note, I would say, you know, The Watchers is still playing in the theater. If you like folk horror, if you like M. Night Shyamalan films, then check it out. It was decent. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. But I give it 3 stars. Have either of you seen The Watchers?
No, not yet. I mean, I've seen other films called The Watchers, but I have not seen this specific one. I do like folk horror a lot. I'm not particularly a big Shyamalan fan. He's one of those, like, I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. Like, it's, you know, like you said about this movie. But, I don't know. Might check it out.
Chris?
No, I saw, you know, I've gone to the theater for a few times recently, and they've always played the trailer beforehand. I was like, wow, that looks kind of interesting. You know, I wonder what that's all about. Haven't gone and seen it yet. Like she said, Shyamalan's pretty hit or miss with me. I think he's got a few real decent movies, and then he's got a lot of real bad ones. So hopefully his daughter gets a better track record than him going on with hits and misses. But I am curious. I'm going to check it out when I get around to it. There was this other stuff I want to see in theaters first, which I'll
Very
talk about.
cool. Yeah, as this unfolds, it's either you're gonna like it. I'm not even gonna say love it, but you're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. I liked it, so. But I'll leave
a big twist at the end, like her dad does.
It's not a huge twist, but it's a big enough twist to keep the story going.
Yeah,
because there's a point where you're like, oh, this movie's over. Okay, cool. Well, that was a short movie, and then it just keeps going, and that's like, oh, okay. Well, see where it goes. But on that note, we gotta keep this train chugging along so we can get to 2007's Wrong Turn 2 Dead End. Ruthless Chris, paging Ruthless Chris. What else you been watching, baby?
Ruthless Chris reporting for duty. I went to the theaters because I think it's important to try to support horror movies when they actually do get theatrical release, especially indie horror. And I've been real curious about this one for a while now because there's a strange hook to it, and that's In a Violent Nature, 2024 by Chris Nash. It had a very limited theater run, and I think movies like Terrifier kind of paved the way to like get like lower budget movies into the theaters and getting them to give it a try. And you know, Late Night with the Devil did very well. This one, the hook of this is it's a slasher, but it's told, but it follows the serial or the slasher, the supernatural slasher character around instead of, you know, the kids that he's killing. So that's like the strange hook of it. This one seems to be pretty divisive for people. People seem to either really love it or really hate it. I liked it a lot, although I will say there are a lot of problems with it. I do think it's made for more for people like us that are seasoned like horror vets, because a lot of the complaints I've seen of people is that like the acting of the teenagers is hammy and that there's like cheesy and cliche things going on. But I think that what they were going for is, you know, flipping worn tropes that you're used to in these types of movies and, you know, like having it from that different perspective. There's a lot of walking. It's a lot of just a character walking around. But if you're familiar enough with horror, it's actually really clever on how it tells the story with the characters it's not following, because they're doing stuff you would normally see these kids doing. You're just not seeing all of it, you know? And I do believe that they had the performers act a certain way to give it a throwback. Like, we're not very good actors kind of vibe that like these slashers had. The killer was very cool. It's obviously a riff on Jason, but they try to kind of give it its own thing. It's extremely gory. The kills in this, there's a couple kills that are like, no joke, what the fuck. There's one with a log splitter that I don't even know how they did it. And there's like an all-time holy shit kill in this thing. But I will say the ending sucked. It just sucked. I hated the ending. If they would have nailed the ending, I would have been raving about this movie. But it just kind of, you know, I was like into it, and then I left the theater like kind of like, wow, what the fuck was that? You know. So with that being said, it is a very good movie. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely made for like horror hounds or people that are very knowledgeable on the genre of slashers. Otherwise, people might not understand what they're meta trying to do. I would recommend it. I gave this one 3.5. Just be prepared for that shit ending.
Fair enough. Kelly, have you seen In a Violent Nature?
I have not, but this is definitely on the top of my list for one of the next ones I want to watch. Didn't they just add it to Shudder?
It's dropping on Shudder on the 28th.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I believe it was made for Shudder, and then they gave it, because so many people were showing interest in it, they gave it a limited release before they dropped it. Kind of like what Late Night of the Devil did.
I should have went with you for that one too.
The trailer looked amazing, you know, and I really wanted to see it when it was in the theater. Except, you know, once people started talking about it, and they're like, yeah, it's super boring, or, you know, the ending sucked. I heard both of those over and over, and I was like, oh, I don't like boring movies, and I don't like movies with bad endings. You know, I do love gory kills, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll still go to see the kills, and I never got around to it. So, you know, thankfully it'll be dropping on Shudder soon. I can watch it at home, because I think that was my big problem with Terrifier 2 is just so long. You know, I couldn't sit. I got bored in the theater. I'm like, okay, well, the kills are cool, but the movie's just too long. But if there's a lot of, I'll definitely check it out when it hits. You know, especially if you're giving it a 3.5. That sounds like a decent rating. And you said it's good except for the ending. So. Maybe.
I wouldn't describe it as boring. I could see why some people would think that, but I think it's because the pacing of it is paced more like an old school slasher. It's not just visceral, super fast, kill. You know, it's like, you know, they set it up and they do some things, and so that's why maybe people, and there is a lot of scenes of him just walking, so that's probably why people think it's boring. But I didn't feel it bored at all.
Okay, good to know. Killer Kelly, I was just sitting here wondering, what's the next movie you want to talk about, baby?
Well, let's talk about boring movies, because this next one I'm talking about fucking was boring as shit. The cover looks kind of cool. That's what kind of caught our attention. It's called Scream from 1981, so we were like, oh, okay. You know, this movie sucked. It was supposed to be... Basically, you get this 1981. The director is Byron Quisenberry. This is his only movie he's ever directed, come to find out. I see why. But he was also the stuntman in 7 other movies, one of them being Return of the Living Dead, which is pretty cool. So one of the stuntmen made a movie, and it's terrible. But anyway, it's about a bunch of people. They're going on a rafting trip down, I think it was like the Rio Grande or something like that. So they're going on a rafting trip, and they stumble across a ghost town. And then in the first night, 3 of them die. They only show, like, a hatchet, and then they show the hatchet bloody. And then when you think, like, you're about to see a kill, you don't. The acting's terrible. There's no dialogue in it. Like, they're barely talking to each other. They're more just reacting to what the hatchet's doing. Like, oh, like, it is... It was pretty fucking terrible. Yeah. At one point, you do see one kill, finally, towards the end. And then the end explains really nothing. Like, you get this, like, there's, like, this black guy that comes in on, like, a horse, but he looks, like, so out of place, you know? Like, this is, like, Old West, like, 19... I don't know, man. It's just so out of place. Like, the way he rides in on this horse, then he drops off like a dead body, and then what it ends up being at the end is, like, it doesn't even fucking make sense. It was bad. I gave this one a 1. Scream, 1981. One of the most terrible slasher movies I've ever fucking seen.
Wow. Well, from your review and from your star rating, I would have to say thank you for taking one for the team. We salute you. You watched it, so we don't have to. If somebody wants to watch horrible Scream, where could they stream it?
Tubi, of course.
Tubi, of course. Chris, have you seen Scream?
I have sat through this hunk of shit as well recently.
Yeah.
It has a good cover. Like, you know, and I was like, oh, an 80s slasher I haven't seen before. I'll check this out. You know, it's got like one of those painted covers with a bloody axe and all kinds of shit all over it.
Yeah.
I was bored as fuck. Everything she's saying is pretty fucking accurate. The ineptitude of almost everything is like mind-boggling in this fucking thing. Like it feels like they let a guy make a movie who's never seen a movie before. You know, like, it just doesn't do anything a movie's supposed to do. It's boring as fuck. She's right, the ending is really fucking weird and stupid. The acting is beyond bad. Everything about this movie sucks. I give it a half star.
I gave it a 1.
Half star. Okay. Yeah, once again, thank you for watching this so we don't have to. And on that note, we're going to keep the train chugging along, and I'm going to talk about a movie I recently watched. It is 2007, shot on video, and I only watched it for one reason. I was intrigued by the fact that Anna Chlumsky, yes, that Anna Chlumsky from My Girl, is in this very funny horror comedy about a car that runs on blood. Now, in the near future,
I know what this is.
Yes, it is Blood Car. And in the near future, gas prices are at an astronomical high. One man is determined to find an alternate fuel source. That alternate fuel source turns out to be blood, human blood. Okay, so yeah, I wasn't prepared for how amazing this film is. It is hilarious from beginning to end. Me and my friends were watching it, and it just didn't let up with the comedy. It's got great gore, fun kills, micro budget. You know, there's zero budget for the film, but that doesn't matter because it's just so much fun. I am grateful for TerrorVision for putting this out on Collector's Edition Blu-ray. I snatched it up with some birthday money I got, and I'm very happy with this pick because it's ideal. It's so much fun, and this is the type of movie that I would watch over and over and over again. So I'm very happy with this. And for me, it's very Roger Corman influence, you know, from Death Race 2000. Every aspect of this movie just reminded me of Roger Corman films. There's boobs for no reason, lots of sex, post-apocalyptic stuff going on. You know, it reminded me of all of his films, you know, all the way to, you know, Bucket of Blood, like we talked last time. I'm not really sure how, but yeah, just that I don't really want to kill people, but I'm going to do it because that's what's getting me laid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I freaking love Blood Car, and I would definitely highly recommend it. I give it 4 stars. From your comments, Chris, it sounds like you've seen Blood Car.
I own a copy. Back in the day, you know, before streaming was really a big thing, back when Netflix would send you shit in the mail, one of the things I would do is just drive around to video stores, and they would always have movies they were selling, and I picked it up on a whim because I was like, wow, this looks stupid. I'm going to check it out. And I was pleasantly surprised. It is so much fun. I can't believe that no more people don't know about this. I mean, it's super low budget, you know, but there's a lot of spunk to it. Like, you could tell that the people that made it are just having a fucking blast doing it. I can't recommend it enough. I love the shit out of this movie. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere because I have a DVD in the back. But yeah, I would highly recommend Blood Car. I'll give that 4 as well. It hits all my sweet spots, and it does remind me a lot of Death Race 2000.
Kelly, have you seen Blood Car?
I have not, but now I want to. First, can I borrow it?
Yeah.
Well, it is streaming on Crackle, Plex, and Tubi, so you've got no excuse not to see it. And if you want to pay for it, you can rent it on Prime Video for 99 cents. That is 99 cents well spent, because Blood Car is a laugh riot, especially if you have a sick sense of humor and you like gore, because there's lots of gore and lots of laughs. Blood Car, 4 stars from me and Chris. Watch it. No excuse not to. But we got to keep this train chugging, choo-choo, so that we can get to 2007's shot on video, Henry Rollins sequel to Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. Ruthless Chris, I heard that you might have one more movie to talk about before we get to our feature presentation. Is that true?
You know, you've been listening to the grapevine. I'll tell you, those whisperings, those rumblings, those grumblings, they are 100% true, because I'm going to talk about a classic that I think is highly overlooked, and more people need to see it. I kind of revisit it every 5 years or so. It's a personal favorite of mine, and that's called Bad Moon. It's one of my favorite werewolf movies ever made. This is directed by Eric Red. And in looking into Eric Red, because I was like, I wonder what else this guy's made. He made Body Parts, which I very much enjoyed, but he also wrote some classics. He wrote Near Dark, and he wrote The Hitcher. So yeah, the guy's got some horror chops. But what Blood Moon is, or Bad Moon, not Blood Moon. It's a werewolf movie. It's all practical effects. This is probably one of the most impressive werewolves I've ever seen on screen. It is very cool looking. But you have a man who gets attacked by a werewolf and he survives, and he goes to live with his sister after losing his job, and he lives out in a trailer out back of her house, and he goes into the woods and chains himself to trees when he knows he's going to turn to try to protect the family, because there's a small boy involved, and then there's a dog named Thor. This movie is actually based on a book where the whole movie is told from the perspective of the dog, which I thought was interesting. But the dog becomes like the protector of the family, trying to protect the little boy and the mom. This thing is bloody, all kinds of practical effects. The werewolf is super, super impressive. I can't recommend it enough. I'm trying to see where you could stream it at, because I just watched my DVD. Looks like you stream it on Plex. So you can go ahead and watch this sucker for free. Can't recommend enough. Give it 4 stars. That's Bad Moon from 1996.
Very, very cool. Kelly, have you seen Bad Moon?
Yeah, I believe I have. This one pops up actually quite a bit, and I love me some werewolf movies. I think it's been a while, but I remembered this. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. From what I remember, I'd have to, I think maybe a 3.
Very cool. Yeah, no, yeah. I recently watched it too, probably, I'm not sure when, but probably about 6 months ago or so, and I know that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I bought it on a whim. Shout Factory was having a sale, and I got it 3.5 stars from me. So if you haven't seen Bad Moon, definitely search down a copy, find it streaming, do what you can, enjoy Bad Moon, especially if you like werewolf movies, because it's a good one. Anyways, Killer Kelly, what you got for us next, baby?
Oh, I got one of 2. Okay. We'll go with the one I didn't enjoy as well. This is another one that was on Tubi. This is a newer, I believe this is a Tubi original. This one's Trinket Box. It starts out in the 1930s, clearly down south, clearly in racist times, and there's an interracial couple who gets caught by the girl's dad. Well, they go out to kill the boy, that she's caught with, and he accidentally slits the father's throat. Well, the little girl in the family, somehow there's some sort of curse. She puts on this necklace that now their property's cursed. So any against interracial couples. I don't know. So then years later, modern day, a couple moves in. They're trying another interracial couple, and this old woman gifts them the necklace that you see, the little girl with at the beginning. So, yeah, you kind of it's pretty. What I didn't like about this movie, it was so fucking dark. Like on the screen, we did watch it in the daytime, but I think even if it was at night, it would be hard to see shit. It was very slow paced. It was just kind of boring. It wasn't that interesting. Like it wasn't a terrible storyline. I just thought it was boring as shit. Maybe not boring as shit. It was definitely better than fucking Scream 1981. So it was a step up from that, but it was dark and slow, a little boring. Yeah, I don't know. Decent storyline, though, surrounding this necklace that kind of... As soon as the mom receives it, she puts it on. She's kind of getting, like, possessed and shit. But, like, she's, like, against her boyfriend or her husband, and they've been trying to have a baby, and it kind of turns her a certain way. I didn't hate it. I gave it a 2.5. It was just mediocre at best, just meh. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but...
Fair enough. So, Trinket Box on Tubi, 2.5 from Kelly. Have you seen Trinket Box there, Chris?
I have not. No.
Yeah. It's from directors Patricia Kepa and Ackery White. Ackery White also stars in the film, and I think this is also their debut directing debut. It was meh. It was meh. I did also, I'll just throw this one in because it's real quick and it's not really much of a storyline, but I enjoyed this one a lot more. This was Backcountry 2014. It's a bear attack movie. Couple goes out in the woods, gets attacked by basically a rabid bear. This was a really good one. Great kills. It is based on a true story, the death of Jacqueline Perry in 2005 in Northern Ontario. Except in real life, the husband lived in this movie. But the kill is brutal. I don't know. But I will say, I gave this one at least 3 stars. For what it is, Animal Attack one, fucking Backcountry's alright, and this is on Netflix.
Backcountry. Tubi?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix. Alright, Netflix, 3 stars, Backcountry. And definitely if you like bear, if you like nature versus human, animals gone wild, nature gone wild type films, check it out. But,
definitely more thriller than horror, but yes.
More thriller than horror, but yes, indeed. And I've got one last movie to talk about before we get to Wrong Turn 2. You ready for it? This one is 2010's slasher homage. I watched it strictly because it is directed by Chris LaMartina. We had him on the show a little while ago as a guest, and we were big fans of the WNUF Halloween special. So
Yes.
I wanted to see his take on slasher movies, and this one is called President's Day. It's about a high school election that turns deadly when a homicidal maniac dressed like Abe Lincoln starts killing off the candidates. This movie is... it's a fun watch, and I would definitely suggest watching with friends who are willing to laugh about it. And I don't want to sound like it's a bad film. It's got great gore, it's got great kills, and I know that it's supposed to be an homage to low budget slashers from the 90s and 80s. So yeah, it kind of nails what it's going for. But other than that, I didn't notice it until the end. All the candidates have either politicians' names or politicians' wives or children's names, and the hero of the film wasn't really pointed out until towards the end when it was happening. I was like, oh yeah, I see where this is going. So it's also a political satire as well, and it doesn't come off that way at first because there's a lot of boobs, great blood, great gore, and it's shot on obviously a very low budget. And what me and my friends thought was very funny, this is from 2010, so if you're familiar with who Sean C. Phillips is, he's in this movie, and it was before he lost weight. And we just kept laughing because if you know who Sean C. Phillips is, he's super annoying. I had to block him on Facebook because he kept trying to get me to finance his films. Like he's very persistent about asking for money for movies. So it's funny to see him before he was a producer or a director, and he's just got a couple lines and he was killed off, and we're just like, wait a minute, did somebody kickstart this movie and he paid $5,000 to be in it? And we're like, yeah, probably. But no, actually, this is a lot of fun. It's got a great soundtrack, and like I said, lots of great gore, lots of great kills, and the ending is just like, okay, I get it. But other than that, yeah, I give it 3 stars. It doesn't look like it's streaming anywhere right now, but it is from TerrorVision. So, I don't know, if you like a political satire, comedy, crime, horror movie with lots of boobs and gore and a punk rock soundtrack, hunt down a copy of President's Day and enjoy it. Have either of you heard of or seen President's Day?
I've heard of it. I have not seen this one, but ironically enough, that same he has hit me up for money as well to try to get me to finance a fucking movie. So I think it's kind of funny that apparently he's willing to do that to anyone. Apparently, but yeah, I haven't checked this one out yet. I've been meaning to. I do enjoy Chris LaMartina, what he does. The super out there spooky Halloween tape that we reviewed the one day was phenomenal. So I really enjoy his sense of humor.
Yeah, I have not seen this. When you said President's Day, I thought you were talking about something else, and then we started talking about it. I was like, nope, no, I have not seen this.
Well, on that note, I gave it 3 stars. Check it out. But we're gonna get to our feature presentation. It is 2007. Looks like there's a theme here. You know, lots of movies in 2007, 2000, late 2010s, whatever, 2000s. I'm bad at math. Leave me alone. We're getting to Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. It's shot on video, directed by Joe Lynch. And I think the biggest selling point of this is it stars Henry Rollins.
And now for our feature presentation.
And if you haven't seen it, it is about a group of reality show contestants find themselves fighting for survival against a family of hideously deformed inbred cannibals who plan to ruthlessly butcher them all. Whoever decided that this was going to be our feature presentation, I'm glad that you live far, far away, because I disliked this film. I would eat the worst food I could find. I would poop in your toilet. Don't worry, I would flush it, but I would make it very, very stinky, and that stink would be there for at least 45 minutes. That's how much I am angry about this film, and I paid money to watch it.
Yeah, I did too.
So, Kelly, I heard that this was your suggestion.
It was not.
Yeah, no, let's talk about Henry Rollins.
Oh, well, shit. I thought this was your suggestion. Okay.
No.
Sorry about that.
Regardless, why don't you guys talk about the pros and cons of this? Because I've already stated that I am not a fan. Tell me, what is it about Wrong Turn 2, Dead End, that you enjoyed enough to suggest this? Because it's one of you guys. You guys can fight it out. Who suggested we make this our feature presentation?
Well, was this while we were kayaking or something?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So we were probably
we were in Virginia, and we were talking about
that's what it was.
Being butchered by backwoods rednecks, and then we started talking about Henry Rollins, and we're like, remember when Henry Rollins was in Wrong Turn 2?
Okay, so that's how this happened. We were in the backwoods of Virginia when this happened. When this was suggested, so that's where it came from. Sorry, Jerm, I did not mean to torture you with this movie. But yep, it was really just that and Henry Rollins, and yeah, I mean, this movie's fucking ridiculous. It's fun. It's a fun one, dude. You got you got the reality show people going into the woods to try to film. What was it? Was it like a love show?
It was like a post-apocalyptic Survivor thing.
That's right.
I think this came out right when like Survivor was really big, and I think they were trying to do a riff on Survivor. I will say, much to Germ's chagrin, I actually enjoy this movie too.
No, that's fine. We're allowed to have different opinions.
Yeah.
But couldn't you tell me what is it about Wrong Turn 2 Dead End that you enjoy, Chris?
First off, I think that there's a certain humor to how like unbelievably dated it is already. It like right off the get, like the girl in the beginning with the fucking giant pink Bluetooth in her ear, and it's just like this wasn't that long ago, but this all feels so old. But they definitely don't hold back on the gore in this thing. No. They really fucking go for it. There's a lot of backwoods hillbilly action. I will say a lot of the characters in this movie are fucking intolerable. Like the guy that was supposed to be the comic relief, the sex crazed fucking douchebag. I couldn't fucking stand him, and it took him way too long to kill that fucking guy off. But I also enjoy watching Henry Rollins try to act because he's a big ham bone when he really is going for it, and he's taking big swings in this fucking thing.
Yes.
Like big swings. And you know, it's real fucking hammy. And then, you know, they kind of make him like the ultimate badass, so that was kind of funny to see. You know. Yeah, I don't fucking hate the movie, man.
The backwoods, like fucking clearly inbred people. I mean, it's it's a fun movie.
Several times in the movie.
Yeah,
they had a fucking inbred baby.
Yes,
you're right.
I think that this is the movie with the horniest inbred murdering family ever. They're very horny. They are humping away throughout the movie, and they are enjoying watching others hump, and they're masturbating. This is a very horny inbred backwoods killer cannibal family.
At one point when they were banging, wasn't the one guy wearing the girl's face?
Yes.
Like, they chopped the girl's face off and was wearing it while they were fucking.
Right, because they're trying to lure the other Survivor reality show contestant out of the woods to try and save her, thinking she's getting raped. But then they like, ta-da! I'm wearing her face.
It's funny that would be so convincing.
They just like run out of the forest like, you stop that, and then once they realize it, they're like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here as fast as possible. They're just not fast enough to outrun these maniacal inbred horny hillbillies.
I do enjoy Joe Lynch as a director though, and this is a super early Joe Lynch film, but I really enjoy a lot of the things he's done. Like Suitable Flesh was really fucking good. I really enjoyed Mayhem. I think he's kind of a fun dude, and this one, he really fucking went for it. Like he's like, I'm gonna make it as gory as possible. I'm gonna have the most hillbillies. I'm gonna make them look as fucked up as humanly possible. I'm gonna have a bunch of them, so there's a huge body count on both ends. There were some really interesting kills. I liked how they like the one where the two people were hanging upside down, and like the dad hillbilly and his kid have like almost like a fatherly teaching bonding moment where he's like teaching them how to shoot the bow and arrow, and they shoot the arrow through both of their heads at the same time. They're together. I thought that was pretty fucking cool, and I thought like things like that actually did add a little bit more characterization to the hillbillies themselves, where a lot of the Wrong Turn ones don't really, they're just running around killing people, but they don't really like it. It almost seemed like they tried to do a little bit of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing, with the family aspect
like a deliverance
with them.
Thing. Yep.
Yeah, because there's the dinner scene, which was definitely very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the dinner scene definitely brought to mind Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Even though like these hillbillies don't talk, they just sort of grunt. And I appreciated that they were saying grace around the table, but they were saying grace around the table in grunts. And I think that if Joe Lynch had more experience under his belt, then that humor would have been able to translate more, because Mayhem is fantastic. That movie is exceptional, and his vignette in Chillerama is fun. You know, he's done some great stuff, and I don't know if this was his first film, but I think if he had fine-tuned the humor more, I probably would have loved it, because, like you said, the kills are very creative. The kills are great, and I think that was one of the things about this, that every time I was like, "Oh my god, this movie fucking sucks," and I just wanted to like lower my score and lower it further down. I didn't want to give it any score. I'm like, "Oh no, that kill's awesome! I can't put it down." You know, and also, like you said, Henry Rollins. If he could have gone full Henry Rollins, sort of like when Nick Cage gets to go full Nick Cage, it would have been better. But like, he's still great playing that sort of macho, survivalist guy. If they just leaned into that and made it more cheesy, more over the top, that would have been great. Like, I just think if these actors were just pushed like further into being over the top, because I really thought I was going to love it when that first kill, they slice the girl in half, and each hillbilly is dragging half of her. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
Yep.
It's like, the reality show trope. I hate the reality show trope. Boo.
It kind of reminded me of like, what was it? Which Halloween was it? Halloween Resurrection, how they had
where they had the reality show.
It was that
the house.
same, with
That's is that the one with LL Cool J or the one with Busta Rhymes? I know a rapper's in that.
Busta Rhymes.
It's the one with Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks.
You know, it felt like Henry Rollins was trying to like channel like Lee Ermey, you know, from like Full Metal Jacket. You know, like he was trying to get like that kind of vibe going on. And this is, you know, I have seen him in movies where he did a good job acting. You know, He Never Died. I thought he did a fantastic job in that.
I love that movie.
I have that movie. Yeah, I have that movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that movie as well. So, you know, he is capable of acting well, but this one, it's just like, I think it's one of those things where they all knew what they were in and knew what they were making, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, this isn't going to theaters. This is going direct to video stores and streaming services, you know, like, it probably had no budget. It was Joe Lynch's first film. I looked it up. The next one he made after this, he actually took his name off of, which was Knights of Badassdom.
Oh, that wasn't bad.
I didn't think it was bad either, but they put a different director name on it. He has a podcast with Adam Green, the guy who made like the Hatchet movies and stuff. And I've heard him talk about making this movie and like why he took his names off Knights of Badassdom and all that. It's been pretty interesting. But the other funny thing I want to point out is I follow him on Letterboxd, and he reviews his own movies, which I think is hilarious because you know how many stars he gives every single one of his movies besides Knights of Badassdom? 5. He gave this fucker 5 stars. So I think it's really funny that like he follows himself. He's pretty entertained to follow on Letterboxd. He's nowhere near as entertained as Uwe Boll was before they pulled his account, but yeah. I think it's funny that...
they pulled his account. I didn't realize
he was like the biggest fucking troll ever, and it was hysterical. And like every review was like if the movie gave him boners or not, and all kinds of shit. like just talking mad shit about movies that are way better than anything he's ever done.
Yeah, you've showed me some of his reviews before. That's why I was like, oh, they pulled that.
Yeah, it used to be my favorite thing. I would get so hyped just pulling up my Letterboxd every couple of days and just be like, what's Uwe been up to?
I think another interesting fact about Dead End 2, or Wrong Turn 2 Dead End, that actually kept me interested was that every time I thought, okay, this is going to be the protagonist, this is going to be the character that makes it to the end of the film, every time I thought that, they killed off said character.
Yeah, they did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this character will be that character. Nope. They kill him off every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that person's gonna. Nope. They're gonna kill him off too. I thought that was interesting too. So there is a lot of good qualities about this. I think that the major thing was that I didn't like about it was that reality show trope, and then the really sort of the stiff acting. And I know that these probably weren't the most professional actors. And the this is, if this was his first film, Joe Lynch's first film, that would explain why he wasn't really leaning into the humor that he captures in his later films, in his more recent films. So that would make sense. And I also think it's interesting that the only recurring character from the first Wrong Turn to this one is Old Timer, played by Wayne Robson, and he's just in the cabin. He's like the grandfather or the father of all the hillbillies, and so that's interesting that even though it's a very different premise, they carried over one character. He doesn't live too long, but that's okay.
They blew him the fuck up.
That was a good kill. That was a very good kill. And it looked very practical, which I enjoyed. It didn't look CGI. And I know that on the first Wrong Turn, you don't see any CGI, but watching the making of, I remember that they did use some CGI to enhance the kills, and I thought that was cool. And so, I mean, they might have in this, but it doesn't really show. And yeah, like I said, I wanted to give it a worse score, but I just couldn't because every time I hated this movie, it did something that I loved. It would give me some brilliant, gory kill. It would give me some interesting sort of twist. And I couldn't quit watching. I will still poop it. Kelly, don't let me near your house. I will poop in your toilet. I will give it a very stinky poop for this. Other than that, it's just good. It's just if you like that sort of backwoods, if you like that sort of mid 2000s horror film, then it's definitely worth checking out. I can't wholeheartedly recommend it, but it's a product of its time, and it's Joe Lynch's first film. And if you like his films, that's another good reason to check it out. Chris, what you got? Anything else to add about Wrong Turn 2 Dead End?
When you were talking about CGI a minute ago, there was one kill that was so insanely bad CGI that it really stuck out to me, and that was the arrow through the head kill. Because their heads are supposed to be stuck together with one arrow, and their heads are kind of swinging separately, and like the arrow would have been like breaking, but it just like kind of was awkwardly there. But yeah, I think this movie's got a lot going for it. The characters are almost intolerable. And like they do things like where they set up what you think is going to be like a B plot storyline, and then it doesn't go anywhere. Like there's a thing where one of the contestants is fucking the director, and she oversees them cheating on her and shit, and you think that's going to be a whole thing, and it's not. No, it doesn't matter. like little things like that. But Henry Rollins is a lot of fun to watch in this. They definitely do not go cheap on the gore. In fact, the ending set piece with the tree grinder was pretty fucking crazy and a lot of real gory. If you're in the mood for backwoods hillbilly action, you can do a lot worse than this. With that being said, I actually would recommend this. I do enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars.
I also gave it 3 stars. I would recommend this just because it's fun. I mean, I really like I kind of like the fucking reality show trope to it because it is a product of its time, man. With the Henry Rollins, just all the way around. Yeah, I recommend it. I give it a 3. It's the best. There's a couple of the Wrong Turn series I feel like I need to rewatch before I can say this is the best one of the.
I've never seen all of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need to watch some. Didn't they just come out with a newer one?
There's a remake.
Very recently. Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't see
that. I really like the remake a lot because it skewers your expectations. It plays a lot on on expectations, and how you view people and stuff like that. But this one, as much as I hate the trope, the reality show trope, and I hate, how stiff the acting was, it sucked me in with the gore. It sucked me in with the kills, and the twists and turns. Whenever you thought somebody was going to die, or somebody was going to live, and then they wound up getting killed off. It could have been much, much worse. And I wanted to give it a lower score. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't, because every time I wanted to, they just shoved that beautiful gore in my face, and I give it 3 stars. It's not really streaming for free anywhere. If you want to check it out, you can rent it or buy it on Amazon.
I think it was like $2 though. It was like $2.99.
$3.50.
Was it? Yeah.
$3.50.
Yeah. So you owe me $3.50, Kelly. JK.
You've paid more for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I've seen your collection.
Oh, I thought you meant that straight guy that I paid to blow him once, but that was a lot of money. But anyways, $3.50 on Amazon, or I'm sure you could probably find a cheap copy at any secondhand movie store, music store, wherever. And you can do worse. But in the meantime, this is Real Vile, and we're about to sign off saying, hey, what do you guys want to say to the people out there in Real Vile land?
Come join us in Chicago, July 20th. All of us will be there. Come say hi.
I maybe.
I forgot.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I'm going to try.
But yeah, we're at the Berwyn Eagles. We're going to have a big wrestling event. A lot of great matches and some new debuts and stuff. So check that out. Aside from that, watch something stupid, watch something gross, watch something cheesy.
Okay.
Kelly, just heck yeah. That's all you got for these people in Real Vile land? Heck yeah.
Have a good night. Yeah, have a good night. Watch something fucking weird. Love it.
Absolutely. Yes, and we look forward to seeing you all July 20th at Berwyn Eagles Club. But in the meantime, I'm going to say, keep it creepy, keep it spooky, keep it real vile forever. God bless America, and send nudes.